Here, still not a licensed physician, still not giving medical advice. It's purely educational and for entertainment. And as many of you likely know, most doctors are morons. I was even thinking, walking home today, maybe I should make a whole new YouTube channel called MDAM. Most doctors are morons. But then you have to add in a part about some are just downright, like evil sociopaths or something. But yeah, I hope that when I have a medical license someday, people won't automatically discount me because, as I just said, most doctors are morons or evil sociopaths. I am not one, despite the fact that I will have a medical license eventually. And I don't like bringing videos until I can think of a good topic. And today, in a conversation, it got brought up, how do you know if you have angina versus a panic attack? And it can be very hard to differentiate. And sadly, a lot of people in the medical community, they like to rely on machines. Now, machines are great when you're looking at extremes. When you're looking for example, if someone's having a massive heart attack, it's going to be pretty hard for a machine to miss that. If somebody's having a mild heart attack or angina, maybe this machine will notice something. Maybe there will be changes. They're not very good at picking up mild, even moderate things. I mean, sadly, I know someone that recently did all the tests possible to see if they had atherosclerosis. What did they start with? I think they started with a stress test. Then they did an echocardiogram. Then they did coronary artery calcium scan with computer tomography. Then they went in finally. So all those, and I'm not sure if they did another test. All those, they said, oh, it's nothing. Your chest pain, you're just old. You're just not used to exercising. It's normal. It's nothing to be concerned with. Like you're over worrying. Yeah. Then they actually went in with the camera into the arteries and they went, shit, we need to do surgery right now. And they did. And they replaced 4 arteries. That's a big deal. That's open heart surgery, open chest surgery. They cut your sternum open, they cut through your pec, they cut through your sternum, they open up your chest, and they replace blood vessels to your heart. Now, why do you replace blood vessels to the heart? Because if they're clogged, they can't deliver blood and oxygen to the heart. The heart needs oxygen like everything else. So, yeah, those doctors who told this person, a woman, so these doctors that told her that everything's fine, you're just old and you're worrying too much, you're just out of shape, it's nothing. They are morons. They are dangerous morons. In fact, I would classify them as evil. Evil is not only when there's intent. If you are stupid enough, you are also evil. It doesn't matter if you think you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you want to be a good person. If you are very stupid and your stupidity leads to the loss of life or damage to life, you are evil, in my book. And I think a lot of people would agree. But let's get on to angina versus panic attacks. Now, a lot of people are not very good at feeling their bodies. So you can't say, like I said today to someone, you'll know if you're having angina. Because not everybody's not only a matter of intelligence, it's also a matter of how long have you observed your own body? There's some people like myself, I'm feeling myself every day. Every moment of it. There's not every moment. Sometimes I'll get distracted and I'll stop paying attention to my body. But the point is, some people, they go through their whole life, they don't pay attention to how they feel. Then you got some people that do pay attention. You got some people, you could spike their drink with 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams of caffeine or something, and they wouldn't notice. You got some people that you put 30 milligrams in there, and they're like, I feel a little bit off. Me, I can tell before I get sick. I know, like, oh, I'm getting sick. I better take all the steps I can right now so I don't actually get sick. Because I'm very observant of my body. And you should be too. It'll save you a lot of trouble. You know, if that person had just ignored the feeling in their heart, especially if they were taking some sort of painkillers like opioids or something, dulling the sensation of pain. Now, opioids actually are going to improve the actual blood delivery to the heart. So that's good. But assuming they cannot improve it enough, but they dull the pain of the angina, that is bad if you keep ignoring it and then you have a heart attack. So differentiating angina from panic attack, it can be difficult. In the hospital, they like to differentiate it by looking at an EKG, looking for some little changes. They like to look at your enzymes to see if you have any heart damage. Now, it's technically not for angina, that's for heart attack. The difference between heart attack and angina is whether you had actual heart tissue death. I would prefer never to get to that stage, but typical hospital treatment, if you come in with signs and symptoms of a possible heart, like angina, heart attack, impending heart attack, their standard procedure is basically to wait and see, then do something. That's not a good idea in my book. And I would much rather be proactive and avoid the heart tissue death in the first place. But they will typically tell you you're crazy or having a panic attack if you don't already have tissue death. Now, if you had really crazy EKG changes, yeah, they'll probably say it's angina or something. But here's the real kicker. If you go in with signs and symptoms of angina or panic attack and they don't know what it is, and they think, they do some EKG, they go, oh, we don't see anything, this person's just a nutcase having a panic attack. They'll give you something like lorazepam, a benzodiazepine, and they go, see, we gave him some lorazepam, he got better, she got better. That proves it was a panic attack. They were just silly and they didn't realize, they don't know what it's like to actually have health problems. Guess what? Kind of like I mentioned with opioids, improving blood delivery to the heart. Do you know what lorazepam does? It slows down the heart rate and dilates the blood vessels. Now, it's not the best thing to do this, but it does do that. So if you're having mild angina and somebody gives you lorazepam, there's a good chance that it will actually get rid of your mild angina. Wow. Yet the geniuses in the medical field would say that it's proof that you are not having angina because it's an anti-anxiety medication. Well, you need to look at the totality of effects of the medication, not just one thing that it does. Like the fact that the ways that you reduce angina, decrease the risk of a heart attack, is 1, improve blood delivery to the heart. 2, reduce the workload of the heart. And lorazepam is going to do both of those things. Once again, it's not the best medication to do that, but it will do that. So there you have it. A brilliant example of morons who think that they are smart, who think that they are smarter than you. When you come in and you know something's wrong with you, then they tell you, no, nothing's wrong, you're just panicking, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just a stupid average person. Guess what? These so-called professionals, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking about. Yes, they sometimes are able to help people, but very often they are not. That's scary to think about. Still, if you're gonna perhaps die, it's better to be in a hospital than not be in a hospital. Like, your odds should be better. If it's something really obvious, like you're bleeding to death, they're probably going to be able to help you. If your heart does stop, there's a better chance that someone will save your life in a hospital than if your heart stops in the middle of the street. It's just, if you go in with things that aren't so clear, they're generally not going to be of any help. So yeah, hard to differentiate panic attack versus angina if you've never had angina and you don't know what it feels like. But here's a little description, and I know I kind of said that this was the topic of the video early on, took 10 minutes to get to it. I don't have panic attacks. I've had angina, so I can't speak for sure about panic attacks. I've been stressed at times. I've gone through a lot of situations in life. But what I can say about angina is the more you move, the worse it gets. It's like I was trying to tell someone today about angina and how you're out of breath and your chest hurts. And I'm like, oh, that's a panic attack. It's like, no, it's not a panic attack. Although have never had a panic attack, I can guarantee you a panic attack. I don't know. I can't guarantee you because I don't have panic attacks. But angina, it's hurting right now. Then you go to move and it gets worse. The more your heart beats, the worse it gets. It's a pretty obvious thing. If you are experiencing angina, if you have chest pain and it's like this, I don't know how to perfectly describe it, but like this pressing pain, and it can turn more sharp, and you're kind of out of breath. But especially if you get up to move and you try to walk down the street or something, you start to get really out of breath and the pain just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. That's probably angina, not a panic attack. Now, if you're sitting there going, I can't breathe, could be angina, but it sounds more like a panic attack. If you're sitting there completely calm, and I should mention this part. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. If you are completely calm and you're having issues with your chest and your breathing when you try to move, it's probably not a panic attack. If your heart rate is not even higher than 60 BPM and you're having chest pains and trouble breathing, it's probably not a panic attack. It's very sad how medical people have this obsession with telling people nothing's wrong with them. When I was younger, I had a completely torn coracoacromial ligament. I could stick my finger between the bones. My shoulder went like that. I held it in place and wrapped it up and held it in place so the bones would be next to each other, and it had a possibility of healing. As you can tell, it did eventually heal. And I did special treatment on my own. And I had doctors look at MRI, look at a big spot on there, go, this is odd. It looks like you have a torn coracoacromial ligament, but that couldn't be the case. You're 16 years old. It's just an error in the MRI. And that sounds crazy, and it is crazy, but it happened, and it didn't just happen once. I don't want to go on and on about personal experiences, but I've had a lot of personal experiences, and that's why I fully know and believe. I don't need to believe. I know from experience that most doctors are morons, MDAM. Just like I know many other people that know from experience that most doctors are morons, or evil sociopaths, sadly. So if you need medical advice, you can't get it from me because I'm not a licensed physician, but if you need medical information from a scientist who almost has a medical degree, medical license, you can get medical information from me. You can get health information, coaching, consultations, whatever. Same thing with training, same thing with diet, same thing with supplements, same thing with special supplements, harm reduction for your special supplements. Whatever you need, you can hire me for it. Check out my Instagram, andreyhutch, AndreyHutch. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Check out the other videos. Hope you liked this. It's always better safe than sorry. Don't doubt yourself. If you know something is really wrong, there's a good chance something is really wrong. We don't just get sudden feelings that something is really wrong when nothing's wrong. That's an amazing thing that people who work as doctors don't get. It's like if somebody suddenly develops pain in the side of their abdomen or something, and they think like something's really wrong. This is some weird, strong, random pain. There's a good chance something is really wrong because people don't just randomly have strong pains. People don't just randomly start having their vision go black and pass out. This stuff isn't normal. Yet a lot of medical people will be like, oh, nothing's wrong with you. You just, I'm around a lot of medical people. It's just crazy when we're talking about medical things and they want to just brush off everybody's medical issues. It's like, why? Why? But I'm not going to go on and on.